Okay. Thank you everyone for that for waiting. So we're gonna start the session now, and today is going to be an amazing one. Specifically because of what we're going to talk about, understanding buyer's journey. Basically, what the journey it takes. The B2 majorly focus on B2B journey, the journey your client would take. I know that there are a couple of different stages for marketing as well as sales as well. So now can you craft your strategy around those stages, those behaviors to get them to actually buy into what you're selling. So I remember few days ago, I was talking to I'm talking to the team member, the sales team of one of the um, companies that we consult for. So they're having challenges regarding sales and all, and I decided to up in on their one of their meetings for the sales team, and I asked a question to one of the sales manager. I asked, so what are the strategies? So they were complaining about sales, and I just thought to ask the question, like, what are the strategy that you're going to adopt this week that you believe would alter would cause a change? And it's like, strategy, what do you mean by strategy? So it means that it doesn't even know what strategy really means, or how that is sales. In sales they also strategy. A lot of people believe that, okay, marketing team would come up with strategy to drive this, but a salesperson too needs to learn how to craft strategies. How are you going to get to where are you going to find your clients? What are you going to say to them? How are you going to approach them? How can you get them? Because the job of a lot of people believe that the job of a salesperson is just to close the deal, right? But it's not just that. You have to learn how you're going to acquire those leads, generating those leads. I know of someone who tells you that, okay, the marketing team needs to generate the lead and then they bring it to the sales team. But trust me, if you have worked in a organization that prioritizes the sales team, or have only the sales team, you know that as a salesperson, your number one job is to actually drive lead acquisition, drive lead acquisition. And then when you drive the lead acquisition, you'll be the one to actually close those leads yourself. So no one would give you any lead from anywhere. And I've been working for starting, let's say for example, the real estate company, because I worked in a real estate company for a couple of years, and the marketing team generates leads. The sales team also generates leads. So whatever lead the marketing team generates, they are responsible for it. The marketing team closes that lead themselves, because everyone is aiming for a particular commission, right? So we fought for, because we were always working and just pass on the lead to the sales team, right? But we were not getting any commission or any incentive, but we're the one doing the work, while the sales team were just, relaxed. Like, oh, the marketing are yet to send us leads. Marketing are yet to send us leads. But so when that structure came in, the marketing team started, the sales and started coming up with strategic initiatives, right, to help drive leads. And they started closing more leads than even the sales team started closing more leads than even the marketing team, right? So I think that a lot of people do not know that sales is not just, someone would give you leads or something. As a salesperson, you need to understand the strategy, the approach you would execute to help you generate leads and drive the conversation that the client or the business owner, the decision maker, would sign that contract, especially when it comes to B2B. You have to look at where you're going to find these people, how you're going to tailor your conversation with them, just like what Israel was talking about yesterday, that yeah, it makes it own a bit more personal. It looks at what the person is currently doing, if they've won any award recently. So that would drive conversation. I also mentioned that if the person is a sport enthusiast, so you have to drive conversations around that as well. So you have to look at how you're going to do that. So but you can't really close a sale or get a lead if you don't understand the journey of the user, the journey of the buyer, right? You can understand. So that is what we're going to be talking about today, understanding the buyer's journey. We're going to be looking at, and also looking at the strategy that we can adopt to help, um, utilize the journey of the buyer, basically, and make it more effective, that it helps you drive the results that you want to achieve. So before we go into today's session, I want to just get a few comments from everyone. Not everyone though, so we don't spend a lot of time, but just a few person. So I'm going to call names randomly. So permit me to do that. So part of the, I want to just hear, based on what I want to just hear, like maybe one or two things that you learned yesterday of the class that we did yesterday, one or two things that you learned. So I'm going to call one or two persons. So what am I going to call now? Okay. Someone within, fingers crossed. Now, don't see me, don't see me. So like Akinwande. So your name is in front of me. So if you don't mind unmute your mic and just saying us maybe one or two things that you learned yesterday.
Good evening, Ma.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, everyone. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you so much for the training so far. Yesterday, I was able to learn a lot from the practical experience of Mr. Israel. And one of the major things which he highlighted, which I took note of, and which you also made emphasis on today, is that fact that you should never go into a sales meeting without arming yourself with the personality of the business or the individual you'll be meeting, because that will be the basis of how you will be able to um, convince the person and close the deal. Because for you must be able to understand the belief, their idea, and also the fact that for every sales deal, a server, we should see that a form of partnership whereby we're trying to mirror what the business wants to achieve. So that means you're not just looking at it as from the point of I just want to sell my product, but rather you want to help them use your product, achieve what they want to achieve. So that way you are trying to ensure that you are getting you get to understand what they want to achieve, and also you help them achieve that. So basically those were some of the things that I picked from the meet yesterday. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Akimande. Thank you very much for sharing. I really love the fact that you mentioned the part where you said you have to, and I love how you put it, saying don't go into a meeting unarmed. So it's like a quote of the day. So it's like because of word of the day for me now. So don't go. So I love the way you said it. So don't go into a meeting unarmed, right? So you have to understand the personality of the person you're going to be having conversation with, so that you're able to drive an engaging conversation. Like I think you mentioned something as well, that imagine getting into the meeting, because most I think people definitely feed off your vibe as generally. So when you get into the meeting cold, the person you're talking to might be cold, but in some way the person is giving you this fun and engaging vibe, and you're just giving them this sluggish. It's the mood and the tone of the conversation would just drastically change. And some people I know, I think even in the job interview, right? There was one job interview I attended a couple of years ago, and I got the job majorly because the man said I was smiling. Said I was smiling. So so he said he loved the way I smile. I was just smiling, and it means that I'm a very happy person and all of those. So that was basically what appealed to that person. So imagine I took the problem of my day, because I think that day I went to my place of work, and the whole road traffic and all of this. Imagine I poured all of my stress that day. That means I wouldn't have gotten that job. So now let's be for in a business meeting, your having a video call with the person, your video is turned on, and you're frowning your face, you're not even smiling, the person will feel like, what's going on here? So that's it's a very, very key thing to know. It's good to have to understand the personality of the person you're speaking with, and even you yourself, you should always ensure you're maintaining a very friendly and welcoming environment with the person you're speaking with. So I'm going to call on another person. Who am I going to call on now? Who am I going to call on now? Olusegun, if you don't mind, unmute your mic and telling us one or two things that you learned yesterday. Olusegun Moriri, I don't know, I don't want to murder your name, please. Sorry.
Yes, yesterday I was able to note down some tools that could help us with prospecting. So I wrote a couple down. Yes, that was something I took out from yesterday's meeting.
Oh, that's really good. So what are those tools that you
He said BCA4, then he
Mhm,
also mentioned prospecting through listing, product listing sites.
mhm.
And sorry, I have to peep at my notes because I wrote everything down.
That's fine. That's fine. I love the
Yes.
fact that you took notes. That's a really good learning habit. I really love that. Thank you very much for doing that. I hope everyone is doing it too, because you can't remember everything. So it's good to have notes to something you can go back to. That's a good one.
He also mentioned, maybe the notes are closed. But yes, that was something I got yesterday from the meeting. Kind of fine.
Okay. So I hope that you also went on to research on those tools yourself and learned how to use it, because there are a lot of videos online on YouTube, and then we might not be able to have like a walkthrough session for those tools. I know that we're still owing you all the list of tools that you can use. We'll definitely send it to the group. I'll try and pursue best to ensure that that is done between today before Monday or something like that. But I would encourage you all to try out pursue best to these tools that have been listed. I know you mentioned Apollo and some other one. Go on YouTube. There are a lot of walkthrough videos on YouTube that you can look at to learn how to use them. And I would recommend that you start practicing it, start putting it to work, because see, I'm a party for not learning everything, but learn something and implement it,
Yes, I
immediately.
found it
Because
already. So you also mentioned B2B odds, yes, Crunchbase, Y Combinator. I also
B2B
wanted to add yesterday that
B2B.
you can try get prospects. It works
Oh
well on LinkedIn.
yes, I know that as well. But it's B2B int, not B2B ont.
Okay,
HINT. B2B int.
okay.
Oh, yeah. So please, those tools that you listed, and I think you should go on YouTube and see how it is being used. Create account if you haven't, even if you don't have any prospects now, just create an account. Create an account and look at how the tools work, and learn them, because you never can tell what will happen. So what would happen tomorrow, next tomorrow, and even in your place of work. I know some of you work in amazing organizations currently, so you can leverage those tools where you're currently working. So please don't allow this knowledge go to waste. Uh, learn about those tools, and just like Olusegun, please, Olusegun Mo, I will just use Mo. My apologies. So please take notes so I can go back to your notes later. So enough of me for tonight, for now. So I think I'm going to give Israel the floor today as well to do justice to the topic that we have today. And definitely, I'm sure that he's still going to bring that personal touch to it, just like yesterday. So, and I'm glad that we all aligned to that as well. So, Israel, you have the floor now.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Hi, Comfort. It's nice to be
Hi.
here again and to be speaking with everybody. I want to believe that we had a good day and our day wasn't stressful and we got a lot of things done. I think probably it was stressful. It's the end of the week, but then I hope that we had a good day altogether. So, for those that were not here yesterday, uh, just do a quick introduction. My name is Israel Dele, and today I will be speaking on um, the buyer's journey, understanding the buyer's journey, then looking at how we can develop some strategies around journey. I think sometimes words said, I mean, when you say strategy, sounds like a lot of big deal or a lot of things, but then essentially it is that you are trying to create a plan, a working structure, or something that just helps you to execute or um, you know helps you to determine what you're going to do, what stage this is going to be, and at what point we're going to do this. So before I go further, I will say the same thing I said yesterday. um, my convers or this is more of a conversation or me just sharing personal experiences. So again, this is me sharing experiences that has worked for me or things that I found helpful and useful in my career path. And then also, I think I also want to point out, yes, that I'll be using a deck. I won't be going through, saying, definitions or whatnot, because doing a simple Google search, you can find what bias persona is, and all of those details. You can find um, so many videos on YouTube. I think I was having, okay, there is a prospect having conversations with him yesterday, and it was like, what exactly can you do differently, or what are you doing differently from this organization? So I want to hope that my sharing my personal experiences today makes a little bit of difference, or maybe a lot of difference. And then I just want to bring a personal experience into it, so that it's not just a lot of theories and things that you can easily find online. So for me, I would say looking at buyer's journey, buyer's persona, because somehow they're interrelated. Of course, we could say by definition they are different. A buyer's journey, we could say that's typically journey is how you go from point A to point B, but then persona should be who this person is, or how this person thinks, or whatnot. Looking at behaviors, looking at psychological structures or factors or whatnot. But then I tend to relate both together. And here is how I think about it, or why I do it that way. I have a personal belief that um, for before you can determine what you start, or how you start something, or how you're ending it, you have to look at it from a very unique perspective. And again, I think we this goes down to understanding the business you're going to be talking to, you're going to be pitching to, because essentially, like I said yesterday, I look at it as a partnership. I look at sales, business development, every form of tech sales, growth, whatever we might call it. I look at it from the aspect or perspective of it being a partnership. And then for even for organizations, or if we're even doing B2C, but our focus is B2B and majorly in the tech ecosystem. But for those that may not be in the tech ecosystem, or those that love to work in other industries apart from the tech ecosystem, I would say that looking at it, you have to always approach it, or I would suggest you approach it from the angle that this is a partnership. You're going into a partnership, you're going to work with this person or with this organization to achieve this goal and that goal. So in the process of doing that, you need to be able to understand who you're going to be talking to or who you're going to be pitching to. And then just as Comfort mentioned, which I strongly agree with and I sincerely appreciate, um, I think this is not a shade to any organizational structure or to any processes, but I think there's been a lot of breakout of course, it is great that to allow for efficiency and then to avoid I don't know what I'm doing here or that. It is great that you say, hey, this is where your job starts and this is where your job ends. But I think as a salesperson, as a business development person, as someone in growth or in marketing or even in partnerships, like I said yesterday, I'm sorry I'm using a lot of like I said, but try to connect everything back together so it makes a lot of sense. So during our session yesterday, I pointed out that even if you're an engineer in the tech startup or a tech company, or even if you are maybe you are an engineer on site in a real estate company, or you're an engineer in a company that manufactures supply units or cars or whatnot, at the end of the day, there is a goal. Everybody's, individual inputs comes together to achieve or to help us, to aid a collective goal, which is we need to make revenue so that the business can continue to grow. We as individuals can continue to grow in our careers. We can get paid. The business can survive. We can fulfill give value to people that need it, because at the end of the day we need to make sure that whatever we're solving a problem. So I like to think of it as anybody in the growth or revenue field, you are more like a founder, because when you're trying to talk to somebody, you carry, like they say, you carry the market in your head. So you are going to make sure that this process or this product you're trying to sell, you are able to pitch it to that person, you're able to convince that person to buy from you or to come on board or to use your product, even to give it a trial. Because and then when you're doing that, you're pitching everything, both the product, both the business, this generating sales to you. And how do I make sure that maintenance is great? Then you need to, that means you're going to pitch into that person that you have a great workforce. There is a good structure behind the product. There are some people that will handle, customer support. There are some people that will handle other things like maintenance and whatnot. So you're pitching everything to that individual or to that business. So I like to look at buyer's journey, started from thinking about the personnel behind it, and then of course every buyer's journey can be very dynamic. I don't want to say it can be dynamic, in for every scenario, because sometimes you might have some, organizations, or because we're talking about B2B now, or some similar to another client, and perhaps company A and you execute the same process with company B. Sometimes it happens like that. But then that is they are different. Their organizations are different. Even if every of your B2B product appeals to, say for example, the person who Jude talked about his company. He was talking about BAS yesterday. So you're looking at BAS. Say for example, you're working with, you within the fintech ecosystem, and then of co-founders, of head of product or head of this and that. They are very different personalities of, the chief of operations or the person that is going to sign the final check that allows them to get on board. They are all different. So I like to look at it from a unique point. So that's why I said that
I, for one, think about personal, I mean, buyer's journey from looking at it, first of all, from the persona. So that persona helps me to determine how to craft my I mean that person's journey. And like I said, I like to look at it from a very unique point. So if I have one organization, I do a lot of research. I mean, I do tons of research. So if I'm going to speak with you, I want to make sure that I am like Obiti mentioned. I hope I pronounced that well. I am arming myself with all of the the tools that I need. So as I am arming myself, as I am not just tools now, all the information that I need. So I'm arming myself. I am preparing myself to be able to convince that person to buy this product or to get onboarded or to use this product. So I make sure that for each of the individuals I'm going to be speaking with, for each of the organizations I'm going to be speaking to or speaking with, their journeys are unique. They are different. They might be different, and I customize it according to what I've been able to learn about them. Now, let's take for example, say there is a SaaS product. Okay, I think it's the fastest thing that comes to my mind right now is a payroll system. We're trying to sell a payroll system or pitch a payroll system. Permit me, I like to use the word pitch. We're pitching a payroll system to an organization that wants to. I'm trying not to use names in particular, but then we're pitching a payroll system to maybe an organization. Okay, two organizations. Let's take for example two organizations. There's one organization in tech ecosystem. There's another one that is outside, that is probably in manufacturing, or maybe that does automobile automotive manufacturing. So in that for those two organizations, they are different. Their structures are different. The way they develop things are different. The way they probably relate to the organizations are different. HR managers are different. There are loads of differences in those individuals. So when you probably want to start, maybe you start the conversation, you identify the probably like I mentioned yesterday, look at the person that the people that will at the end of the day sign that deal. For me, I made an example of two people that first might be the CEO that probably doesn't have a lot of time, but there's one person that he says, hey, what do you think about this? Have you gone through it? Are you okay with it? Okay, great. So I think if you're good with it, then let us go ahead and sign it. Or the person that probably listens to you for just 30 minutes and say, oh, okay, I am on board. Or no, I am not on board because I don't think it has the value for what we're looking for. Or I am not convinced yet that my money will not go to waste by putting, I mean, when I put it into your product or when I get onboarded on your product. So for in I mean these scenarios are different. So I want to make sure that, say for example, a payroll system that I'm trying to pitch to someone or an organization that is within the tech ecosystem, I would ideally say, okay, I try to do research first of all because it's B2B. There's a very huge likelihood that apart from maybe they see an ad somewhere and then they reach out through an email and somebody, this is the basic, strictly from the point where you have to generate the lead yourself, which is all different from, since, situations where the leads are generated for you through maybe ads, and then marketing team, they do a lot of leads, and then they run ads, and then they give you leads, and then you have to go ahead to close those deals, or qualify the leads and whatnot. So, but then the first scenario, you're generating the lead yourself. You look at every detail, every information you can find about the people you're going to be speaking with, and then their organization. Once you've done that, it's a payroll system. So you are ideally, sometimes you would say you are informing your people, your organization first. But I like to pick it from, I am informing myself first about the organization before I go to them, and then I inform them. So buyer's journey for me starts with me in that scenario. If I am the one generating the lead, the buyer's journey starts from me understanding and getting all of the information, educating myself about that organization, about the individuals I'm going to be meeting. Then after that, once I leave from that, I go into educating them about my products, and then giving them, looking at their value. But whilst I'm doing that, I am trying to deduce what their visions are, because they might, of course, every organization has mission and vision statements on their website, but then the vision for why they need the product might be different. They're looking for a payroll system. I mentioned that yesterday, that they might be using another product. They might be using some products already, but then there is something they're looking for that they could not find in that product, and they probably want to pivot so they can use yours. So you look at the vision. Why do they need this product? Why are they looking for this product? So that helps you to now go ahead to develop or pitch to them your value prop. So apart from educating them about the product itself, you pitch your value prop according to the vision that they have, according to the needs they have, or according to their goals for wanting to use that product. Then after you've done that, you go down to this is not a typical thing where I say this is how you start and this is what you must stick to. Like I said, it can be very unique. The business environment is unique. You have to go according to, you have to customize. You have to look at every individual, every organization. Then you build your structure around the personality or around the information you have about them. But then with the scenario we're going with, I already talked about how, I mean, I think well, I was at the stage where I was saying that you look at the value prop, you pitch the value prop to them so that it meets the vision and the goals that they have. Then after you've done that, you go ahead to talk more about um, 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 you talk more about, how to first of all partner with them. So after you're giving them the value prop, you want to tell them that, or you want to help them understand that you are working with them. You're not just giving or throwing them this product and then you leave them. You're working with them to ensure that you achieve a goal. I mean, you help them achieve the goals that they have. So once you've been able to convince them that, hey, we're looking to work with you, we're looking to help you achieve this and that goal, then you want to move ahead to talking about terms. So that could be a journey. You want to talk about terms now for each individual, each organization, each deal. And this can be so I think I was supposed to start with by saying that for every journey or any journey you're trying to craft or you're trying to build or any structure you're trying to build, it depends on, there are factors that determines this thing. First of all, you look at the deal size. I'm sorry, I'm digressing. You look at the deal size. You look at the product itself. The product matters a lot because if you're selling a BaaS or you're pitching a BaaS or you're pitching a SaaS, the product is different. Even in a BaaS, for example, the kind of product, what it is supposed to do, the functionalities and etc., they are different. So that could determine your buyer's journey. Then their experience, the user's experience, eventually, or the experience they're going to get from your product also would help you determine how their journey should look like or what their journey should look like. So the deal size. So I was talking about terms. Now, when you probably want to say this payroll service or this payroll system can be used for um, um, there's the organization you're talking to in the tech ecosystem has maybe 100 staff members. They're bringing 100 staff members on board, and then you tell them, okay, per month this product costs $10 per employee. But then the person is probably going to say, we are, what we were using before was $8, but because your product has more features or more can help us achieve the vision where we have in mind, let us do this. Can we bring down a little bit or do this and that? So that's the way you're talking terms. So you look at, then they probably might want to tell you, okay, during implementation, this is how we want to do it, or during we have some technical requirements, or after implementation, this is how we want to go about it. We have some technical requirements that we want you to fulfill. You may not be the one that would handle those technical parts or all of the other stages, but then you have to put them into perspective, because when you are, I like to think of, once you have a client, you don't ever leave your client. You don't go from saying, here's a personal perspective from me. I don't um, say I have a client. Oh, we've been able to close the deal. After we've closed the deal, that's it. I'm done. I don't want to do that because there is this thing where I believe, and according to my own experience, it has manifested itself a lot of times. The first person that a client speaks with, that is the person they most probably want to keep speaking with until they are probably not going to use that deal, or until, I mean, that product, or until the end of that deal. Say, for example, it's a road construction project. There's a very huge likelihood that the person the CEO, for example, spoke to in the beginning is going to be more comfortable because you've gone through days, weeks of conversations, trying to convince this person, trying to buy their trying to convince them to trust you. You've been able to get them to trust you. So we're humans. We don't. There are instances where you would say, where you would even hear a client and say, "What happened to the person that started this deal? I want that person." So that is to tell you that this we're in humans. Humans are always more comfortable with the person they're able to establish a connection with. So as a tech salesperson, as a business development person, you don't ever leave your client. Hey, I am done with the deal. We have closed the deal. Let us pass on, move on, and then yes, of course, you might should be want to get them to be able to come back to you at the beginning. Now there is a little bit of change. You want to give them satisfaction, so it doesn't go to the point where you say, okay, no problem. Go and meet the team. Okay, I will refer you to so and so. They will handle it. Or send an email to support. Support will handle it. Or send an email to technical support. Support will handle it. It makes because now, like I also mentioned yesterday, that for you when you're looking at the deal, put yourself in the buyer's shoe. Okay, I think that's more like how best to develop a buyer's journey. So put yourself in a buyer's shoe. um, um, uh, when you're talking to the buyer, or when someone is trying to talk to you, how would you feel if someone told you, or you say, "Hey, I have a problem with your product, and we started this conversation because you are the one that spoke to me about this product, and you convinced me, and we had conversations, and we signed a deal, and during the whole terms and determine I mean considering our terms and etc., you gave me assurances, and you said this was going to happen and that was going to happen, and then you go ahead and tell the person, but this is the stage we're at now, and it is not looking as though the terms we agreed to are being considered here." So if you are in that person's shoe, and in the buyer's shoe, you are the buyer. Say, for example, you're buying a clothes, and then the person tells you, I don't care anymore. There's nothing I can do. That's it. I mean, it's gone. It's gone. All you can do is maybe you can go and dash the clothes out, or you can go and return it, or I don't know. I don't care. You won't feel great because we are humans. You don't want to waste your money. You don't want to believe that the person is nonchalant. You ideally will want the person to say, okay, I'll find a solution for you. I will issue a refund, or there's a rebate somewhere, or something like that. That's how we think. So the same thing should apply to our clients. So even if the deal has gone through, you have closed the deal, you have perfected it, you want to make sure that the client, or yeah, your clients at that point continues to have trust in you. They can trust you. They can trust the fact that if they come to you with a problem, they can solve it. Now, let's go back to terms. I already mentioned that the journey could be that the terms, because the term is like a very important aspect of the entire deal process. Every process is important, but then that phase is very important because at the end of the day, you will refer to it when something is going wrong, or when something is going right, or when you need to review something, or when the client is asking you for something that is out of the scope. You will definitely refer to it. So that is why that part is very, very important. So once you're done with terms, you sign the deal, you close it, this is still part of the journey. You go straight into implementation. Like I also said, you want to keep holding the hands of your client, even if you are going to do handover, and then there is that other team that can handle the deal, or there's this other team that can handle this or that. You want to still make sure that during implementation, they still can come to you and say, hey, this is the problem we're having. And then you say, okay, no problem. I'll get on it. I'll help you find a solution to it. So that is a scenario for some, I mean, an organization or a business that is within the tech ecosystem. Now, let us look at, you're looking to sell this payroll system to make an organization that is in the automotive manufacturing industry, and then you're trying to tell them this is how to use the product, and or this is not just how to use the product, these are the values they get from using your product, or this is what they can get from using the product. You have to look at the deal size, you have to look at the application to them, to their organization, their own requirements or what they need. That would help you determine what the buyer's journey for them, or what their own journey would look like. Because if you're unable to build it around what their experiences should look like, you probably might make mistakes, because when you get to probably determining, I mean, you're trying to define the terms for that deal or for that process, it's different because of the kind of organization. They probably have 1,000 individuals or 1,000 employees. Of course, for someone that is bringing 1,000 employees, you don't want to say, we're looking at 10,000, I mean, $10 per user, and that's it. You want to make some adjustments. You want to say, okay, I can come back, I can give you at this rate, or I can do this at this rate, because you want them to feel like um, um, you have their best interest at heart, and you're not just after the money. Nobody ever wants to, even if you have the biggest money in the world. I mentioned that yesterday. You have the highest net worth. You want to still make sure that you're getting the highest value for every dollar, every naira you're spending. So they want to, you want to make sure that they understand that you have the best interest at heart. So we've talked about how to craft your journey, or how to develop a buyer's journey according to the dynamism of deal size, the product itself, the personals that are involved, the organization structure, their requirements, what they need that product for, or their vision, etc. I mean, exactly. So those are the major things that helps you determine how to develop your buyer's journey. Now, let us look at scenarios where you do you are just you get leads handed over to you, and like Ms. Kofo mentioned when we started this conversation, when she talked about how sometimes there are instances where the sales team just believes that, okay, we the marketing team is supposed to generate leads for us. And after they've generated leads for us, our own is to do lead qualification. Once we have done it, we do demo. And once we're done with the demo, we close the deal. We tell them, okay, this is how to use our product. And then I send an SLA. After sending SLA, I bring my technical team on board. After bringing the technical team on board, I sign the deal, and that's it. And then they come back to you and said, there is a problem. I said, no, 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 no. Please go talk to tech support or technical support. They will help you out, or just send an email to them. I can refer you to someone you can speak to. That's not, like, for me personally, I don't think that's a great way to be a salesperson, because I mentioned yesterday that one client can make or mar your entire deal goal for the year. You have a target. One client could ruin the entire process for you for the entire year, because one person speaking, you don't know how. I mean, it's a business, particularly for B2B businesses, particularly in the tech ecosystem. They are looking for somebody they know that has used your product before. If you have not noticed it, try and pay attention. If you're in the B2B, if your product is B2B, I would tell you this based on my personal experiences. When I am talking to this founder and I say, hey, this is what we can do for you, or this is how we can work together with you. And then I mention, hi, I think you know this person.
And he says, yes. Oh, and then they say, I had a conversation with this person some days ago. And then we talked about how we're going to do this and that. Oh, okay, that is great. There are instances or times where they go back and say, have you used this thing before? Or do you know these people? That has happened before. I mean, there was literally a time I was speaking to a founder. The founder told me he had to go ask somebody about me, about the organization I was representing, the product I was talking to, and it was like he wanted to know more about what we were doing, and then if it had helped that organization and that founder, that is friend, to solve that problem. So that one, imagine that the experience that person had was horrible, and because after I closed the deal, I just felt no, it's good. Every other person can handle it. I want to move on to the next deal side or the next deal. And then he comes back and says, I don't trust them. I don't think they are great because when I did this and that, it didn't work out. Then he will tell you, okay, no problem. Then you will go back and say, do a follow up. How do you feel about this? Do you still can continue? Say, no, I don't think at this point we can do this. Then someone else comes back and asks him, hey, what do you think about this? He had never used your product before. He didn't go through with the deal, but because he heard something from his friend or from somebody he knows in his ecosystem or in his industry, and then the other person told him that, hey, I don't think this product is good, or because of my own experience, he will also say, someone told me that the product is not great. I mean, we as individuals or as buyers ourselves of other products, we do that. When we go and check out reviews and we see the reviews are not great, then we didn't use the product. We never bought it. We never paid any penny for it. But then someone else says, what do you think about this? And then you say, I read somewhere that the product is not great. So I don't think I can trust it, and I don't think you can trust it, or you should trust it. So one client could make or mar your entire deal process, um, 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 vision board, for example, or plans that you have for the entire year. It could make or mar, one person could make or mar that process. So you want to make sure that every client has a great experience. So for I think organizations, like I was about to say that at the beginning, where I was saying that it is not to talk down on any organizational structure, and also it is great that organizations can put structures in place that of course does not overwork one person, and then it just makes for clarity of job responsibilities and etc. But then I think as a salesperson or as a business development person, as someone in partnerships or in growth or in revenue and growth fields entirely, it is not sufficient that we wait for leads from people and then you say, my job is just, like I said already, my job is just to do lead qualification. I put phone calls through, I send emails, I try to do this and that. And then after that, I close the deal, I send SLA, I do demo, and that's it. That's not exactly how we should look at it. Because if that happens, say for example, of course, for B2C, that will happen a lot because you cannot start going one after the other to start finding leads yourself. Of course, it has to go through a process that allows you to get bulk leads, and you can follow through with that. But then, if it's a B2B process, your organization has marketing team that is extremely capable and they generate for you, you still make sure that you do your dig deep and you look at it and you take it from the angle that you want to go. Even if there is a demo was booked and scheduled for with you, of course. So there are some organizations that you can have loads and loads of demos scheduled for the day. But then in the middle of that, still try to find time to do research. And before you go to the organization, you don't just want to, I mean, before you jump on that demo call, for example, you don't want to do, hey, this is how our product can work. And then now tell me, of course, during the demo session, you would want to say, tell me about your organization. What do you have in mind, and etc. But before the person, joins, and it's usually a great experience when you say, hey, hi, how are you doing? I see that you did this and that in so and so time. Congratulations. So I understand that your organization is doing this, and based on the little information I've been able to put together, I see you're probably trying to do this, and I can already sense that this is what you might need. So, based on what I've been able to put together, I will walk you through how our service can, or our product can help you solve your current need, and how we can partner with you. That's a better conversation. It's a better, so the person feels, oh, this person already actually has me, man. And then oh, I think I should be in safe hands because this person put their time into, finding details about my organization or about me, about the problems we're trying to solve. So if there is a situation, perhaps you're working on a product right now, or maybe in future you're going to work in an organization where leads are generated for you, I would say it is not just sufficient to relax and say, hey, leads are coming to me. I put a phone call to them. Hello, good morning. I feel you signed up for, you said you wanted to use our product. Have you tried it yet? No. What is stopping you from trying it? Okay, how can we help you? Of course, sometimes you could do that. How can I help you to sign up, or what exactly do you need, and etc. If it's a B2B product, you have more time to actually do some research, because it is not a situation where you're trying to close 10,000 or 100,000 users and etc., or trying to onboard 100,000 users. But then if it's a B2B, the numbers are usually smaller, and then the deal process are usually longer. The maybe conversation tenor or whatnot can take maybe 1 month, 2 months sometimes, on trying to fine tune terms, trying to fine tune scope, and then because like I said, every client is looking for the best value from the money they're going to pay. So they go back and say, this is what your product can do, correct? Yes. Okay. All right. Can you do so and so? Then 2 days after, they come back and say, okay, I think I found another product that does this. Do you think your product can do this? So most times, or a lot of times, your conversation tenure can be longer, can be like 1 month, 2 months, is usually different, because of the deal size. Because when somebody is committing $10,000, for example, or at the end of a year they're going to be spending even $3,000, $4,000 on your products, they are not going to just say, okay, I went through your website. Of course, customers, we have to always assume that they have done their own research too. But you're not going to believe that they're just going to say, very rare cases, there are times where it happens, but a lot of times they want to make sure that they are getting every value for every cent or every kobo they're going to spend on your product. So in a situation where leads are generated for you, I would advise that as a salesperson, as a business development person, you take your time to do deep research. Do understand before you go on that call, before you say, see it as a circle of 20. Okay, put phone calls through, send emails, wait for them to book or schedule a call or schedule a demo session, do demo session, ask them, send 1, 2, 3 emails, a follow up. They didn't respond to my email. No problem. We move on to the next person. If they say reply to my email, I close the deal, send SLA, we review terms. Are you okay with the terms? Yes, you're okay. No problem. We sign the deal. You send money, or you pay money, or you make payments. After you've made payments, implementation starts. We close that deal. We move on to the next person. So I prefer to always look at it that for every deal, as long as it's a B2B product, you want to make sure that you hold every client's hand. You do proper research. You work with them. You look at it as a partnership, because that's how I look at it, and that's how I think, and that's how it has worked for me. So as humans, look at how you would prefer to be addressed. Look at how you would prefer to be spoken to about the product. Look at how you would prefer to be convinced about the product. So I think, to wrap it up here, so that we can go through questions and answers, I would say there is no particular structure. So if you probably were thinking, I was going to say, hey, this is a standard way. Of course, there might be standard ways. You can find them online, but I would tell you categorically from my own personal experiences that it is not always like that, because humans are unique. Customer behaviors are unique. customer personas are unique, deal sizes are unique, organizations are unique, the people, the stakeholders from on that deal, in that particular deal, they can be very unique. You could have one person that is calm and collected and says no problem, and then there's someone else that looks at things more critically and probably wants to make sure that they are not being ripped off. And then so there are lots of people that could be involved in that deal that before the final check comes in. So when that happens, it always determines your buyer's journey. But then standard process would be, first of all, let your buyer's journey start with you as a salesperson, as the deal manager, the deals master. Make sure that the process starts with you, the journey starts with you. Educate yourself first of all about the customer, about the client, about the organization. Educate yourself about the needs that they have, about their vision before you begin to go ahead to you educate them. So this is me doing a recap. So you educate them about your product. After you've educated them, of course, it could be very unique. After educating them, they might tell you something different from what you have researched about. Maybe their visions might be a little bit different from what you think or believe. Then you look at how to align your value proposition to that vision that they have. Then you go straight next into how to talk to them about partnership, how you can partner with them, how you can work with them. So you allow them to be in control of whatever, because they are the ones paying you money. They are the ones that will say yes or no to the product eventually. So you want to make sure that you give them that understanding that they are in charge. They are the ones that will determine how they want it to go. Of course, which is usually the case in most situations. So you make them understand they are in charge, and you give them the power to take actions as they deem it fit. Then you move into the terms part in part of the journey. So you help them understand what they need to do. Then you also get requirements that they might have, how they want the process to go, how they want the deal to go. If they want to negotiate, you go through all of those with them. Then after that, you go right into getting the terms um, well crafted and must reflect what they have in mind and should not be a generic SLA or contract. Sometimes it could be, but then you want to make sure that there is a unique element in your SLAs, in your contract for each of the buyers, because you want to make sure that it mirrors what they want and what they have in mind. Then you move on to, you close the deal, you confirm payment. If that's how it works, then you go on to implementation. So sometimes, or perhaps you go online and you search buyer's journey, and then you'll see somewhere there's lead qualification. Lead qualification is it starts from when you're doing research, when you are informing, educating yourself about the clients you're trying to speak to, about the organization, and then when you're trying to educate them about the product too. That's lead qualification, because you want to make sure that your product can even align with what they have. So that was where I was where I, after the communication, the educating them, where I mentioned that you want to make sure that you understand their vision as well. You understand their needs, their requirement, because the product you're selling or you are going to be pitching to them should be able to satisfy what they want. If it doesn't, then that means they might not be the right client for you. If they have more requirements than your product can offer. And then I think I need to mention that as much as we might want to be able to close deals, and we might want to look at being optimistic, you also want to create a balance to make sure that you don't oversell that process to them. Of course, you pitch capacity, looking at how much your organization can cover or how much your product can cover. Say, for example, the client is asking you, okay, maybe you don't have this product now, or this feature that can meet our need right now, but do you think you can deliver something in the next 2 or 3 months? And you know that your organization cannot do that. It's better that you ask for more time. Or maybe you ask, okay, if you don't want to ruin the deal entirely, say, okay, give me some time. Let me check in with the team. Let us look at the structure that works. The time you ask them give me some time. It will also help them to, put some trust in you because they believe that you are doing due diligence. And then you come back and say, hey, sincerely, I think this is what we can do. But if you stick with us, we can do so and so offer for you, or we can make sure that it is tailored particularly to how you want it or what you want. So for me, based on personal experiences, this is how I look at a buyer's journey. And then I think I also failed to mention, or probably I mentioned it at some point. I was going to mention that I merge a buyer's journey with their user experience. I think I mentioned that in the first place. So first of all, I want to also make sure that I understand the product. I have a deep understanding of the product that I'm selling. You don't want to go into a conversation and of course, you're a salesperson, you may not, but it's usually helpful that if it's a tech product, it's usually helpful that you have some technical understanding of whatever it is you're going to be selling to them. At least you can communicate in a simple way, some technical things that your product can do or your service can do, so that they also get to understand, oh, this person understands what they are. Because and then with you understanding, all of the technicalities behind your product and your service, it helps you to map the product you're pitching to them to what they might need. So the user experience, understanding what their user experience would look like is also great, because you don't want to a product that would probably take, ideally it would take 10 days for a client to be onboarded. You don't want to go ahead and say, hey, we can close out all of this process in the next 1 week, whereas onboarding is going to probably take 10 days. Because if it's say for example you are pitching infrastructural products, or maybe you're pitching something like you're setting up a colo, that's a co-location for a startup that probably wants to have set up their own servers and etc. And setting all of those up would probably take 2 to 3 weeks. You don't want to go out because you don't understand the user experience process, or you don't even understand how the product works. You don't want to go ahead to say we can get this done in the next 1 week, and then at the end of the day, it takes longer to get, even for them to get onboarded, or even for them to get their systems up and running. So understanding the user experience, understanding the product itself, understanding, perhaps you could have a user journey map on how this is point A, from point A to point B, or from onboarding, this is what they do. When they're using the product, this is what they do. Because when you're discussing the value prop, that is part of what you're going to be talking to them about, and that would help you align the vision eventually to, align the product or the service you're pitching to their vision. Because if somebody says, I want a payroll that can help me pay people in Mars and or in Saturn or in Jupiter, and there are people, and your product can not go beyond planet Earth, then it means that you cannot go ahead and say, yes, we can do all of these things, because you don't know what the product does. Or you tell them, I want a product that can allow me onboard all of my employees by myself without them even touching a screen or something, and all they just need to do is maybe download an app somewhere sometime. But then maybe your product doesn't have that capacity. Your product allows for employees to register by themselves and etc. So you want to make sure that you have a deep understanding of their user, the user experience process, and how the product itself works, so that you can map um, your buyer's journey map, or buyer's journey to that. So I hope that I've been able to share some more insights and some values, and I've been able to, you probably get have some more understanding to how to think about buyer's journey, how to craft your strategies. Like I think when I started, I already mentioned that strategy is just basically plan. So how you define or craft your strategy or your plan around your buyer's journey is basically from the information you get. So that's how you know how to approach them, what to say to them. That is your strategy. How you are going to convince them. If they say they want this, you already probably you have gotten you kind of probably found what product they were using before. Say for example a payroll system, you probably understand what the payroll system. I'm not sure why I'm so particular about payroll systems, but anyways, you have found the payroll system they were using before. You already understand the limitation. So your strategy about how to convince them or help them trust you that your product can do much more than the one they're doing or can solve the problems they're currently experiencing is strategy. And that is how you drive, you drive strategy around your buyer's journey. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening. If you have questions, you can please raise your hand or you can type in the comment section and we can go through that. And then, everybody can, go. So okay, I just opened the chat section. Thank you for Jude for you give concessions. Yes, definitely you do. So, are there questions? Anybody with any question, please raise your hand so you can unmute your mic and ask your questions. I know I'm okay. We're supposed to get you the tools. I think